Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vincent Minotti and we are going to be working on my C5 Corvette today. So as you can see, we have a whole bunch of work to do. We have to get the subframe out. I'm going to take the rack out as well. We're going to move over to the side. We already have most of the wiring out for the lights, fog lights, turn signals, and then most of this is also all tied into the braking system and my pressure regulator over there. And then we're gonna move down to the rest of the wiring harness for the motor. Once all this is out, then we can kind of really focus on getting the two coolers out that I have and starting to make room and brackets to move the radiator forward. Okay, so this one goes all the way down here. And then this one should just pop out like this. So the sensor, and then pull this out of there. Right. We'll let that kind of dangle down for a second. Alrighty. Now this part is out, so we pretty much have our entire wiring harness right here for our lights and some of our AC. And then we need to work down this way. That goes down there, and then I think since all of this is unplugged, I think this should just slide out, to be honest with you. I believe. And then for the subs, so that can kind of go down there a little bit farther. Be real gentle with that. And then that used to be for our fuel pump, so that can be taken out of there as well. So what else is still hooked up is the main question. I believe that everything is some sort of taken apart. Seems like it goes through a sleeve right there, and then into that grommet. So how do we take that out, or is that hardwired? Here is these are all the harness side of things, and then this is undone as well. So do I need to de-pin this? Is that what that's meaning? I guess not. Oh, that's for the lights. So the lights come out of there and into here and go around. Okay, so that goes behind the dash. Okay. Okay, so I need to get this ground off to be able to take this sub-wiring out slash stereo system wiring. That'll come off, and we'll just put this back on here. Make sure we don't lose any bolts. And then now, this should start to slide out here. So I found out that you can actually take these, each one of these sections out. So what I'm going to do for the interior section is I'm going to follow that up this way, and that seems to be in this section, so I'm going to pop that out of this fuse box and then just kind of leave that here, so then I can figure out where everything goes and what everything is still once I have the fuse box out. Some snips to cut these zip ties. That one here from the start. There we go. Get that undone. You just gotta be gentle with this stuff. Make sure nothing gets caught, because we do want to use some of this wiring that's left over. We don't want to destroy anything, because, you know, it is actually valuable, and some people do want this stuff. Me personally, I am building a track specific car that I will be driving on the road as well, but it's not just going to be, you know, your average street car. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish. There we go. And the whole fuse box is now out. By God, that's a lot of wiring. Oh my God, that freed up so much space. Wow. So now, I'll have to undo this, pull this through, put this back on, because the battery is going to be in the back in that right compartment. So we'll be able to put this in there, and then we'll have to relocate the amplifier that's back there as well. So that'll be that. And then this is for the night drive lights, if you guys ever set up those. Okay, so now we are moving on to the interior. Everything is out pretty much for all the wiring right here, so I'm now going to start pulling these out. But to start pulling all those wires out, it'll make it a lot easier, especially once we get it off the lift and onto a table. The body will be going on to a table here soon. I'm gonna pop the seats out real quick. And just to give a little bit of a reference, this is a Shark bar. I had it powder coated red along with the struts. I did a little bit of custom fabrication, so I used factory bolts and mounts for both of the lap harnesses, and then the center that comes through the front of the seat is just attached to the seat so you don't slide forward. And then these studs are upgraded to a grade 10 bolt. So the seat isn't going anywhere, and the harness shouldn't go anywhere either. If you can see that, it is in the factory mounts, and then I did a fire extinguisher, which I'm going to do a halon in front of this passenger seat, so if something did happen to me, the passenger could at least grab a fire extinguisher in front of them. So now we got it undone. Now the hard part is going to be getting the whole seat out. Okay, there we go. Your racing seat. So now we'll have a whole bunch of room to get back in there to pull the wires out. Alright, so now that we have the seat out, we'll come over here and we'll... There it goes. Cool. So I'm going to save that. So the cool thing is that I used to have a kill switch in this car. I kind of did a crappy job with the hole that I cut in. Got everything back there, and if anybody knows anything about C5s in the glove compartment, it is one of the most annoying tasks to get this glove compartment out. So what I did was I drilled the hole through, and then a small little area to be able to get pins back here. So I just barely put the screws through, and then I fed these through, and I bought some covering so that when you'd fold this up and down, which was very rare that I did, abrase the cord, which was kind of nice. So I'm going to keep these for doing a cutoff switch back there. to be able to get your glove box out of this little slot, there's going to be 4 bolts about this size, which was an 11 millimeter, and then there is 2 7 millimeters that are going to go up in here and here like that. And then this should all fall down into your lap. There's a little pin here for the glove compartment light. And then I'm gonna start taking out all of this and then see if we can get the airbag out. Later at night now, I got all the wiring out of the front. I took apart those little panels that were on the side that used to hold the ECU in. And then now I have headed on to taking out the bung that's in the firewall for the interior fuse box that controls all your windows and everything like that. And then I don't know what I'm going to do about the BCM yet, because I'm not going to be running any of the factory ignition stuff. I'm going to be getting just a whole separate fuse box for all the engine and the lights and stuff like that. So I'm going to ended up having like a panel right here, since the factory climate control won't be in here anymore. I'm about finished with taking apart just the top part of this right side of the dash. I'm gonna move over to the left, see if I can get the dash out for right now, and then take out the AC and climate control up in there and see what all I need to start playing with for wiring, because I'm not going to have any of the factory AC system in here. I'm going to go to a full electric hot rod setup. So I'm all done. I got all the bolts out of the dash. It literally slides back out. I just put it back in to be able to show you guys. There's going to be 1 bolt on the side over here. There's going to be a bolt here in this corner, and on the same in that corner. You're going to have a bolt down here. Oh, that's right here. Hold on, sorry. There's going to be a bolt right here that'll line up, and there's going to be a bolt here or somewhere around here for this side. And then there's 2 bolts here and here underneath that cover hothead, and pop that little lever out. I took out my head unit because I'm replacing it with a Holly and a different bezel. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab here and here and just slowly kind of wiggle this forward. Make sure nothing's caught, like this. All that was a small little tab. So now we can pull this forward, and oh my god, it hasn't been off in like 25 years. Look at all the crap and dust up front. But here, let's get this. Let's lower down the lift. Actually, we might not have to lower down the lift. Let's take it out right here. And that is how you take out your dash. Pull dash. We'll go back in here. And all that AC is all going to come out, and I'm going to save so much weight on that. Not only weight, but I'm going to have a better unit in there. I'm not going to have a compressor on the motor, so I'll gain a little bit of horsepower. But the main cause is not having all of this with an extra blow motor when it can be roughly this big. Now I have the entire HVac system out. Just a few little nitpick things that I need to get for like little lines from the HVac. There's this set of it's like a HVac bar type thing. I guess it reads the different pressures of air to make different things open. So a little quick look at this. So when you're taking this out, there's 2 bolts that are here at the top for the entire HVac. It's about this big, as you guys saw. There's a stud that goes through here that your coolant line's hooked to, and then there's a stud here that your coolant line hooks to. Well, the stud has another bolt that is bolted to the firewall on the outside, so you would have to take out your intake manifold to obviously get to your coolant lines back here, and then there's another bolt on the stud bolting it to the firewall. So you take off that one and you take off that one, take off these two bolts, and then basically the whole thing comes out. You're going to have a bolt here, and the exact same on the other side of this for your audio system, and then you're going to have a small bolt over here that's close to your column that you're going to have to take out, and then that will pull this forward just enough for you to be able to pull the HVac system out. And I'm going to take out the pedal assembly, and I'm going to swap it with an actual manual pedal assembly. They're going for around 250 bucks, so I think I'm going to do that. I didn't think that I was going to get this far or deep into the project where I would be taking apart the entire interior again. So now that I am, I guess I have the luxury of changing out the pedal assembly and making it something cool. I might go with a stock one for a manual, or I might switch over to a Walboro pedal assembly and just kind of do it custom. But for right now, I am kind of just going back and forth in between that. Alrighty, so we made absolutely great progress. We got the HVac system out, the entire dash, the OEM gauge cluster, all the wiring from the front of the car is all undone and ready for pretty much the entire engine bay to be cleaned. And then subframe will probably be dropped in the next video, and then we'll start cleaning and patching the holes from the HVac system, and then we'll move the booster over to the side, start to cut the hole and put the master cylinder in. I'll buy the slave cylinder, we'll set the torque tube up. We're gonna take that apart right over there in a video. Hopefully by the time we're taking that apart, the following week we'll have the transmission come in. We'll be able to bolt up pretty much the entire drive line on the floor. The only thing that I'll be missing is my turbo kit and my ECU, but all the rest of the wiring and plumbing and stuff like that we're gonna have to do for the fuel system will be coming in next few videos. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos. Peace.